All right, I'll tell you guys what I told our football team. I'm disappointed in the result. We got off to an awful start, 28-0 against one of the best teams in the country. A lot of it was that they played well, and a lot of it is that we just didn't execute. But I am proud of the way we fought back. I've seen a lot of teams in that situation stop playing and get loose, and our kids battled back, and we made that thing a game in the third quarter. It's too bad, again, that we didn't score a touchdown. We had Chucky Wade wide open, and we missed him on that throw. And if we hit that throw, it's 28-17, and who knows. But our kids fought hard and played really hard, and Clemson's an excellent football team, and congratulations to them on winning the Atlantic again. That is certainly one of the best football teams that we've played all year, and one of the best football teams we've played in our 3 years here. So, we got one game left at home, and we just got to regroup and get ready for BC next week.
How would you assess Conquerors like that?
Very uneven. It just, we were very limited in what we were able to do. And against a defense good like that, it's hard to be limited. So, we didn't turn it over, which is a positive, but we didn't make plays, and certainly there were mistakes made, like any quarterback who's going through his first start. I mean, that's a tall task. You're a redshirt freshman. You're the number 3 quarterback, so you don't have all the reps those other guys got, and your first start is against Clemson.
In the wind.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, that's a tough circumstance to put any quarterback under, let alone a redshirt freshman making his first start. So, he certainly didn't play well enough for us to win. But again, that was not an easy task.
What did you do defensively after they got off to the 28-0 start to kind of change things and hold you down?
We didn't do anything differently. We ran our defense. I mean, just early in that game, we were so helter-skelter and all over the place and jumping out of gaps and, calling a blitz, and guys weren't blitzing. And, I think if you look at our games against the really quality teams, that we, sometimes under that big stage, we weren't always ready.
Well, that's in a different way then. Is there anything that happens on the sideline, on the field or whatever, that allows them to kind of regroup and get their feet back under them after they get knocked back like that?
Yeah, I mean, our guys have gotten knocked back for 3 or 4 years, and they keep coming back. And we're a good defense, and our kids have pride, and we have older kids on defense that, they're going to figure it out, and they're going to make the adjustments. And we got good kids, and they play hard, and we got good football players. So, 28-0 or whatever it was. What was it, 21-0 at the quarter, or was it 28?
28.
Yeah.
When the second started.
Yeah, so, but we have good players, and they have pride, and they weren't happy with how they played, and, they responded.
Were you a little surprised that your defense did not create any turnovers today?
Clemson's a really good football team, Les, and right now to make turnovers. You got to get in tight places and make plays like that. And Clemson is just so gifted athletically on the perimeter that when there's big space, it's hard to create turnovers. And I'm sure after last week, they did a great job coaching their kids. That they probably didn't feel that we were going to score 28, 35 points on them, and I'm sure they at times played conservative because they felt the only way they could not win the game is if they turned it over a lot. So we got the one turnover in the kicking game, and other than that, we didn't really generate any. But they did a good job taking care of it. I thought they secured the ball much better than they have in the past. And if he didn't have guys open, he threw it away, and they let themselves play defense, and they'd get the ball back.
Black Currants.
John was banged up. John, we got him ready before the game. He was cleared to play, but he's just, after last week, was really, really sore. He has his ankle was bothering him, his knee was bothering him, his shoulder was sore, and if he just had one of those injuries, he probably could have played. But because of his ankle, I was worried he couldn't protect himself and he could hurt his shoulder worse. And we prepared him today as if he would play. We warmed him up. and he threw the ball, and he said he felt he could play. And I just didn't feel that he was close to 100%, and because of his ankle and his shoulder, I was very worried that he could not be mobile enough to protect himself.
Given that he's that close, are you optimistic he'll be available for you?
Yeah, he was cleared to play today. He was available to play, and if Kyle had gotten hurt and it was a 21-17 game, he would have played and we would have put him in. Now, we would have been nervous because we're just nervous that, we had an ankle all last year, which really ruined his whole year, and the injury is not as bad as that was. But when you have an ankle like Josh Harris, if you retweak it, you can miss 2 or 3 weeks. And we just did not feel it was worth the risk. And but again, we talked to John, and he was able to play. And the 2 circumstances we would have played him is if it was a close game late, and we would have played him if we had a lead late. That if we had to manage a 4-minute offense, he was ready to go in there and do that. But again, I didn't want him running for his life and then hitting the shoulder again and then being out next week. So I fully anticipate we'll have him next week.
Did the Kearns take any first-team snaps last week?
In practice, yeah. Yeah, he took a lot of them. But John had very few reps last week. That we gave John some inside run reps. We gave him team reps that he wasn't throwing it. And the hope was that he would get loose and give him that time off. And I asked John right before the game, I said, can you go? He said, yes, if you need me, I can play. And we're down to the end of our quarterback line. So, it just, and we managed the game very conservatively for Kyle, because Kyle, we just tried to keep it simple for him. Against a good defense, we tried to keep the reads to be half-field reads. And, it was baptism by fire.
Was more plays under center, was that part of trying to keep it simple for him?
Yes. Yeah, we just, with John and with Kendall, because of the more experience with the offense, you can check a lot more things. And, when you get under center, you can just call plays and run them. And, we didn't want him to be in a position they had to think and make pre-snap decisions every single play. So we did a lot more motions today. And we try to create some running surfaces with motion and formations, as opposed to getting out there and looking what they're in and having the quarterback direct the protection. And at times it hurt us. Some of the sacks they got on us where he didn't see blitzes that, John probably would see. But again, that's what happens when you put a freshman quarterback out there. We've been doing that too much here. For 3 every year, we end up playing a freshman quarterback, and it's hard to win games. It's hard to win games against teams like that when you're inexperienced at quarterback. But again, I thought Kyle played hard. He made some good throws. The pass to Cam Serenay was a great throw. The decision to give Chuck Wade the ball in the long one was a really good check down and a good decision. No, he hit the neck, that he kind of got hit. His neck was really stiff and hurt, and there's certain injuries that you just don't take any chances with. Anytime it's a head injury, neck injury, you want to make sure that it's nothing serious, and so you're going to be you're going to be cautious with it, and so we didn't play him in the second half.
Dave, I'm trying to think of a proper way to address this. I'm just going to throw it out there. The last couple of weeks have been really weird. The schedule's been incredibly tough. You've had a rash of injuries. Even the wind came out of nowhere. It was perfect weather a couple of days ago. Do you almost get a sense that when things get going good for Wake Forest, there's some kind of dark cloud that's rolling?
No, not at all. I was glad there was wind today. If I could have brought in a or a storm and a snow, I would have done that too.
But it was in your face when they put up 28 points.
I know, but then for 2 quarters they didn't have it. So to give that offense perfect conditions I'd rather give them the win for 2 quarters than give them perfect conditions for 4. So, the wind proved that the good Lord is a Deacon fan. So we were.
If it was switched.
We were, yeah. Well, you can only ask for so much. We got it for 2 quarters. So, yeah. I would say this, Scott, and this is an honest assessment of our football team is we are clearly better and we've clearly made progress. There are a couple of teams in the ACC that are elite, nationally ranked teams, and we are not at that level right now. So, the team we played a week ago, the team we played this week, my joke was if we could have fit Alabama in on Wednesday, it'd have made it a perfect week. And I've asked the ACC schedulers next year if they could just give us, Louisville, Florida State, and Clemson all within 1 week and knock it out. So it is what it is. And so do I feel like there's a black cloud? No. We played 2 of the top 5 teams in the country in 7 calendar days. And the fact that these games are more competitive and we battled back, we're making progress. We're not at their level right now. We want to get there. We're not there yet. And, you look at that game compared to a year ago and, certainly felt like a year ago it got out of hand and it stayed out of hand. And, we came back and made some plays and the defense got stops. And so, again, I'm proud of our guys. We're 6 wins. We're going to try like crazy next week to get 7. And then we'll have an opportunity to get a lot of practices in and go to a bowl. So we still have a lot to play for. And I'm really proud of our guys and the progress we made. This team, in that locker room, that's the next level. And right now we're not there yet.
But this is a really unique stretch. What have you learned as a coach?
Well, I just think it's, what's really interesting is there's not one player in that locker room that ever played a meaningful game really in November before this year. And they're finding out the season when the games matter is longer. And I'm really proud of how they're persevering and how they're sustaining it. And, when we were, 6-3, we were incredibly lucky with health with the exception of Kendall. But Cade Carney came back. We had pretty much played the same offensive line except for Josh Harris in Florida State. We had every receiver. And then all of a sudden we lose 3 of our top 4 safeties. Try to defend Clemson missing 3 of your top 4 safeties. And, that's, our depth isn't there yet. It's not. And we're working on it. But I say this, at Wake Forest, when you have 85 scholarships and when you're redshirting 20 freshmen and you don't get a lot of walk-ons, you can't get nailed with injuries like that and line up against the team that we played. And our goal is to get there. We're not there yet. And and I would not even say that that's 1 step away. They're 2 steps away. That's a really, really good football team. But, we made some plays today we didn't make a year ago, and we, had a good touchdown drive. And, Chucky Wade made guys miss and had an explosive play. So, again, I'm going to take the silver lining on this one, and we're going to be positive with these guys, and we got to get ready. And it's a 1-week season, and BC's got to be our Super Bowl. Okay, thank you, guys.